speaking of Florida, Jake, we kind of mentioned how the seasons have gone thus far. Florida's biggest weakness right now, for the second week in a row, Jake, the weakness is the defense, okay? Florida right now is 12th out of 14 teams in both points allowed per game and total yards allowed per game. So they are not giving up empty yards. Like Tennessee, gives up a lot of yards. The points per game remains elite. Florida, this is not the case. They give up yards and points. Unfortunately, for the second week in a row, and especially after two bad offensive performances in a row, Jake, I don't know that I have very much faith in LSU's offensive ability to take advantage of that weakness.
It's a fair question to ask, T, because when you turn on the tape, there's a lot of things that make you scratch your head, and a lot of it has to do with small, basic techniques. That's the thing that's troublesome when you turn on the tape. It's like we just watched. Like we were watching a duo run, some combination blocks, and it's like one side, you got one guy doing the right thing on the inside, and then on the other side, you got one guy doing the wrong thing on the outside, and it's just like it can't all come together.
Yeah.
Like we can point, and there's some good, but there's also some bad. And when you're blocking up front, and certainly in combination blocks, you both have to be good. You can't have a weak link in combination blocks, and that's what we're seeing in the run game. And then in the passing game, I just showed you a play. It was 3rd and 3, right? You get the ball. You've got Mason Taylor right in front of you for an easy first down. You don't go there. Okay, so you keep scanning. You try to get the ball to your playmaker, Kayshawn, right there, and you throw one. It's a little bit behind, but certainly a play that Kayshawn's made in the past. It goes off his hands. It's 3rd and 3. Now you're off the field.
And
now you got to punt.
And he could, I mean,
if he catches it, he's got Mason Taylor, who now, because he didn't get the ball, turned up the field and was about to go at least make an attempt to block the safety, and you got a lot of field left.
And, like, look, Mason Taylor was definitely more open, but Kayshawn was open. But, I mean, you got to catch the ball, dude. You got to catch the ball. LSU's been struggling with
so
drops.
it's who can take advantage of that, because both – like Florida's defense, I think, is behind where LSU's defense is, but can you take advantage? Can you come up with some route combinations? Yes. Can you catch the football? Can you block a combination block that you should be able to block regardless of if you're out of position because you've been a guard but now you're a tackle, or you've been a center but now you're a guard, whatever it might be? That's still the same. Like a combination block is a combination block. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know better than anybody listening or
It does
like
not,
you've played across the board really on offensive line.
It's not dependent on position.
No.
It's not dependent on position. This technique is the same at center, guard, and tackle.
I mean, for me, like if I'm running a stretch at fullback, I'm working in unison with the tight end, and it's a combination block.
Yeah, stay square.
I'm helping. I'm hitting the edge defender back to the tight end while keeping my shoulder square and waiting for the strong safety because I have time. So because I have time, just like the offensive line does in a combo block up to the linebacker, okay, I don't have to rush. I don't have to panic. I can help because if I don't help, the running back doesn't get past me. So why would I leave early? So I help, and then I go up to my responsibility with my shoulder square.
Just too many, this a little in the weeds, but just too many flipped shoulders technique-wise throughout the game in both the pass and run game. Kind of as an overall – The O-line needs to play more square to the line than they did last game, which sounds dumb, but it's very basic and it's true. Jake, let's do a little quarterback comparison here because when you look at him, it's pretty shockingly similar thus far. There are a few differences with Jayden Daniels and Anthony Richardson right now. They are right neck and neck with each other. Daniels throws for 200 yards a game right now. Anthony Richardson throws for 197. So it's about exactly the same. Mm-hmm. Now, Daniels does complete more passes, 68 to 56. Anthony Richardson has a slightly higher yard per attempt. Daniels just at 6.9 yards per attempt, which shows you how conservative and lack of chunky this passing game has been. The big difference would be touchdown-wise. Okay, Jayden Daniels 7-1 touchdown to pick ratio. Richardson's 5-7. Now, obviously, that 7 picks, that's big, right? Because if you're going to beat this team, you've been very good at turning the ball over all year until this Tennessee game in which even sack force fumbles turned into 2-yard gains. But you've been very good at turning the ball over. You're going to need to be very good if you're going to make a win in the swamp. Rushing-wise, Jaden Daniels averages more yards per game, Richard more yards per carry, and Richard's got a couple scores. Basically, they are gaining the same amount of total yards per game. They both accounted for 10 touchdowns on the season. The big difference is that Jaden Daniels has taken care of the ball more. So if we're doing our early scouting report and we're looking for areas to focus on, you must pick off Anthony Richardson because he's been shown to do it this year. And if he can avoid that mistake, well, then all of a sudden he becomes significantly more dangerous.
Have you had a chance to watch any Florida tape yet this week?
Not.
Probably do that later in the week.
That's what I was saying. Florida's kind of receded to the I've not watched him since the Kentucky game. I watched the Utah game very closely, and I watched the Kentucky game, but I have not watched since.
So they've got a stable of running backs that I think if I'm Florida, I'm leaning on more than they have. And they're trying to get their quarterback confidence, and I get that. Receiver's not your strong position right now. It's just not. Like, you've got a couple of things. You got a transfer from Arizona State that I think's got some juice to him, but the running back room, you got Montreal Johnson, comes over from UL. So you have him, you know him. You have Trevor Etienne. You have Wright at the running back position. You've got three that I'm a pretty big believer in. I mean, Wright is more of a guy that you're going to put in there short yardage situations, but Trevor Etienne's been really, really flashy to me. 6.8 yards a carry. Johnson's got 8 yards a carry on 46 attempts. So it's not a small sample size.
Jesus.
So they have a stable of running backs, and they can put multiple guys in there. I mean, Lingard actually is a pretty nice back as well. I mean, we've only seen him a couple carries, but with a quarterback that can run, with running backs that are, getting 8 yards, 6.8 yards, 4.3 yards, 9 yards a carry, you would think they would just kind of lean into more of that, run some true zone read type of stuff, but they haven't done that yet. I would expect, though, in a game like this, to see those running backs and their carries go up.
Yeah, 6.3. Essentially. What the hell?
Let me clear my throat.
Essentially.
Nope.
Essentially 6.4 yards per carry on the year thus far. You know what this is, Jake?
Let's call that man Montreal Jordan.
This is a Harold Perkins game, okay? So we better see some Harold Perkins this game.
Yes, and I totally agree with you. But real quick, the box score against Missouri. Johnson had 8 carries for 86.
Damn. Feed
that man.
Nobody had one carry for 60. No, I'm just kidding.
He had 41, but God, I'll throw you out of here. Etienne had 10 for 83.
That's
Wright had, Wright had 5 for 22. So again, Wright's kind of more.
How was that game even that close?
They ran for 231 on only 32 carries. What? Now their leading receiver, Shorter, he had 1 catch for 20 yards. So it is definitely their strength, and they're starting to lean into it. They haven't settled on the back, and I don't think they need to. They've actually got a really nice by committee. But I expect this game, they're going to lean in. After what Tennessee's running backs were able to do, they broke a lot of tackles. Yeah. They got in open space. I would expect Florida, and if I'm the offensive coordinator, that's the way I'm going into this game. We are going to run zone reads. If we throw the ball, it's going to be with our quarterback on the move somehow. Yeah. Give him a two-way, run-pass option. Because you're not good at receiver. You're not right now. But you're really good at running back. Your quarterback can run. I would buy into that.